Welcome back to Journey to Novelist. This channel is for new writers and those writers new to pursuing the goal of becoming a published author. Now, this particular playlist has been following me as I try to complete the 2 Camp NaNoWriMo projects for the year 2022. Now, the first of these events takes place in April, and before April started, I had a random number generator to select 2 of my old projects to revive for the 2 camp events. For the April event, it chose a project called Third Blood Moon. Now, Third Blood Moon is a vampire story with a mystery involved in it, and I thought it was a good pick for April, and I was really excited to get back to work on it, and I thought I had a good chance of finishing it in April, even though Easter fell that month, because I had a good chunk of words written already for the story. A lot of other things happened, and I also realized that although there was a lot written, it had holes in it. Even within the first act, that opening scene, I was missing a lot, and I did not have a clear picture of where the story was going whenever I originally started writing it. And then there was, of course, Easter and some other things that happened that caused me to not get as many days to write as I thought I would. So I did not get to 50,000 words for the Camp NaNoWriMo. In fact, if I bring my graph over from Camp Nano here, and you look at it, it hasn't been expanded past, but you'll see that on April 20th, and this was one of my problems, that this graph, for some reason, it ended on April 20th, and it looked like to me that it actually started the graph on the date I started the project, or entered the project in the NaNoWriMo website, and it ended the project 30 days later on April 20th. And at the time, I did not know you could go and change the length of the time of that graph. So I went ahead and wrote on and off for the rest of April, but the few words I wrote, I actually put on April 20th. I only got to 16,648 words for this book in April. So that did not even get me finished with Act 1 of the story. I just was barely getting into the first transition scenes of Act 2. I found that everything I'd previously written was written in third person, and for this story I wanted to change that to be first person, so I was doing a lot of rewriting of words and filling things out. So since I did not get far, I did make the decision at the end of April that I would continue to work on this story through May. And my goal was to go ahead within May to finish the 50,000 words and hopefully get all of the beats of the story within that first draft. The biggest part of this is getting all the beats in. So even if I don't hit 50,000 words, if I get all the beats, I will be happy. If I hit all the beats and also get 50,000 words, that's great. If I get 50,000 words and don't get all the beats, then I will have to keep writing until I get all those beats in. Now, I'm hoping to complete it in May. I still have a shot. It's only the 15th, but I still have quite a bit of work to do, and I have run into a couple of issues with the software I'm using. I'm still hoping to complete the 50,000 words in May. It's only the 15th, so there's a chance I will be able to complete it. Now, I have run into one problem today, and that is if you look at my graph, now let me bring this back here again. Today is the 15th, and if I look at this, and you'll see that, I don't know whether you can actually see it on the screen, but it says here that I have 23,043 words. That was updated earlier today, and I thought, well, I hit the 23,000 word mark. That's good. I'm almost halfway through with the 50,000 words, even though I'm only working in Act 2. However, I stepped away from my computer for a while, and when I came back, Windows was doing an update. It had actually restarted my computer while I was gone, and this software, FreeWriter, does not have an automatic save feature. It is not automatically saving. It saves only when I tell it to save, or it prompts me when I go to close the software. And I've lost between 300 and 400 words, because if I look at my word count here in the software now, if I look right over here, it's 22,752 words. So I've lost some words. And I know which words I lost because I had just started writing a new scene. I had started a chapter 10. I'd moved these down here, and I redid that, and I had started this chapter on weapons training, and there's nothing there. I had to recreate this chapter 10 and this weapons training, and I have to recreate the scene I had just written earlier today. Luckily, it was just earlier today, so I do remember what was in the scene, and I'm going to redo that before I end my writing for the day, and at least get back to that 23,000 words. So this software has that as a big negative for anybody using the software. If you're using it, if you're going to step away from your computer for any reason, save before you leave your computer unattended, just in case Windows reboots, or there's a power outage or something like that, because there is no automatic save. Or if there is, it's not something that's turned on by default, or there's no way to know that it did a save. But as far as I can tell, there was no automatic save done before the restart. I'd be more upset with it if it was more than 300 words, but I can live with that. I just have to remember now that I need to save. And that's something that everybody should be doing anyway with their work, is saving often. If you've used a computer for very long, you know that's an old adage, save your work. Always save your work. You should also back up your work, which is also something I have not done. I do have a backup here that I actually wrote everything out to an RTF file in case something happens and the software quits working completely, which I thought was a good idea because this is an older software program. So if something happens and Windows doesn't update like they sometimes do, that causes older programs to suddenly not work, I would still at least have this version. So I could come up here and do a publish, and I think I will just go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to create a new RTF file. I'm going to include everything that is not an exercise in there. So let's see, everything that's actual writing. There we go. All of my scenes. And go next. Compile it. There's my story. Let's see, 52 pages of it. And I will do a save. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. And now I know that I have a backup of my text of my story if anything happens to this software and it quits working, which is easy enough to do. It's actually just an RTF file, so I can open it with Word, or I can open it with any type of text editor, basically. And I have the whole story in there. And I'm giving it an attempt to open with Word right now. And right there. Third Blood Moon. Side-by-side pages. So there's my story. So at least I have the text here if I need it. I like this software. I like FreeWriter so far. I think I would use it again. I like being able to have this pie chart that tells me how many words I've written and whether they're part of Act 1, 2, or 3, or something else. I like being able to toggle things on as whether they're draft or in progress. And I love the fact that I can come in here and for each of these chapters and scenes, I have a word count here. If I don't know whether I can actually zoom into this, I can. So if I zoom into this, you'll see for each of these, it gives you the date you did the writing here, when it was last modified, the state that it's currently in, and the word count for that particular scene. So right here, like this Wolf's Gift one, it says there's 2,431 words in this particular scene. And again, that zoom is really handy, so you can really zoom in there or get a big overview. So I like that. I like having the graph here that shows your word count as you move forward. I like how easy it is to add new chapters in just by right-clicking and saying create subsection right here, and that would create a new chapter section. I like that you can drag and drop things through your software. I like having a place to actually put different elements and thoughts, even though they are not easy to add additional notes to while you're working in your actual writing. But overall, FreeWriter is so far a very good software for this version of free software. Now, if you look at here in the software, you might see that it says that I'm running the professional registered edition. And if you've looked at my videos on reviewing this software originally, you'll know that even though it's a registered version, the software is old enough that they just gave you a key for anybody to use to be using the professional version. So you download the free version, you install it, and you use the key that's on their page to automatically go to professional version, and you're not paying anything for it. So that's a good thing about the software. It is absolutely free. So I encourage anybody that is looking for some software and wants to try one, this is a fairly decent one for a Windows system to try out. So I am liking it. I will come up with some sort of rating system for these softwares I'm going to be trying out, because I am using different software as I try to write the different stories, and I'll be updating that information all through the year as I try different programs for the initial writing, for plotting, for actually going in and editing things, and all the different pieces of creating a book, because this channel is all about the journey to becoming a published author, because I would like to actually finish one or more of these stories that I'm working on and at least put it on Kindle Unlimited as a free download for people to read and enjoy, hopefully. So that's where I am with this particular project. I will continue to update you as to whether or not I get further into the story, and hopefully I will give just one more update. I'm hoping to have just one more update at the end of the month, and I'm hoping to say, yes, I finished, but I might not. It might be saying I got further, but I'm going to extend it another month. So we'll see. Hopefully you are still working on your writing projects. Hopefully you did Camp NaNoWriMo in April, and if you didn't, remember there is a Camp NaNoWriMo coming up in July. You can go to nanowrimo.org to sign up if you've never done a NaNoWriMo event, and you can go there. The site is nanowrimo.org, and you can start a project. The site is free to log into and create an account there. You can put your stories in there. You can talk to other people on the forums. They've got a lot of community stuff in here, and there's some resources for prepping, and there's if you participate in any events, there's usually offers here for different discounts on different softwares. If you're into writing or you want to try out writing, the Camp NaNoWriMo projects and the NaNoWriMo that is in November are good communities to be part of. Even if you don't believe that you can write a novel in 30 days, which in reality you can't really write a complete novel in 30 days. You can get a pretty good first draft, and you can get your ideas down, and you can write 50,000 words in 1 month. And that's the whole purpose of the NaNoWriMo, is to get you writing, get you to actually sit down and say, I am going to accomplish something, and prove to yourself that you can write 50,000 words in a month if you push yourself to do it. That you have to actually get in the seat, get in front of your keyboard or in front of your notepad, and just write if you want to actually complete a book. So I'm all for Camp NaNoWriMo and NaNoWriMo event in November. So join me in the July camp, keep coming back to this playlist if you're interested in seeing how I'm doing with this particular project. See you next time on A Journey to Novelist.